Hide the dreams, for if dreams die, rely on yourself and no way. Believe.
Good morning, everybody. um, I played the outro because my intro is missing. So, my bad, but that's all I can do. Um, I appreciate you guys' patience with me over the last few 5 days with me being out of town. This weekend, Richie's coming to town. So I'm happy about that. Get to see my dude. Um, and I don't know, there is another day. Today is the 6th. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, let me verify some things here. I have another day this week where I will be, yeah. So the 13th, I have an appointment that morning for a nerve conduction test. So I will be unavailable that day for a podcast. So make sure you log that the 13th. It's an early morning thing, and I think it'll take a couple of hours. So just so you know, make sure you log that. 13th won't have a show. Today, however, remember we talked about the rapture that was supposed to happen on the 26th of September. Didn't happen. I mean, who could have saw that coming? who who here thought that maybe the rapture was definitely going to happen? And who be honest, did you think it was going to? Okay. So to start off, I want you all to join with me. We're going to read something in um, First Peter chapter 5. Okay, we're gonna do that first. Um, I want to well, let me back up. I'm gonna redo this idea here. Um, I want very specific spot in First Peter 5. Okay. Remember we talked about the submitting yourself to elders. This line right here is where I want to put, and it contextually it may not apply, but the idea is what I want to push and let people know it's in the book. God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Therefore, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, that he might exalt you in due time. Okay? Okay, cool. Remember that was said. The other verse I want us to get familiar with today, specifically for today, is in Matthew. Matthew chapter 24. Okay? Then Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came up to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said to them, "Do you not see all these things? Assuredly, I say to you, not one stone shall be left here upon another that shall not be thrown down." Now, as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, "Tell us, when will these things be? And what will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age?" And Jesus answered them and said, "Take heed that no one deceives you. For many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and will deceive many. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. For nation will rise up against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines, pestilences, earthquakes in various places. These are the beginning of sorrows. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and kill you, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many will be offended, will betray one another, and will hate one another. Then many false prophets will rise up and deceive many, and because of lewdness will abound, the love of many will grow cold, but he who endures to the end shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all the nations, and then the end will come. Okay. So now we have a biblical background. And we'll get into now the unbiblical background. Now, y'all remember people screaming in the trees and waiting for the 26th to pull him up to the sky? Well, they were wrong, but they were right as well. They were 100% right. And I want you all to hear specifically from the man who made the prediction the first time about the second time and why he was not wrong. Anyway, here we go.
I'm a billion% sure that the rapture is going to happen on the 23rd and the 24th of September 2025.
Mm-hmm.
But when you cross over straight from this Feast of Trumpets to our Gregorian calendar,
Yeah.
it will put you on the 7th and the 8th of October. Now listen. To me, who was asking God, where's your part? I did my part. I delivered the message. Why you didn't rapture the people?
Now, imagine the audacity and the stupidity in your ability to say to God, I did my part. Why didn't you do yours? Bro, who do you think you are? No, honestly, look, listen, you oversized head, stupid mongrel. Who do you think you are? And yeah, I'm going to call you names. You approach God to tell him why you ain't do your part. I did mine. Huh? That's some crazy work. Now, not only are you lying on God about him telling you this is when it was going to happen, your lie has now become your statement of, yo, why didn't you do what you were supposed to do, man? I did what I was supposed to do.
And then he said, days from now, I will rapture my church.
Days from now. So you tell me you can speak to God in that manner and he'll just kowtow to you. Say, don't worry. In days from now, I'll rapture my people. Sorry. I'll do my part next time. My bad.
So the video of this man, remember this, I'm seeing this video in
So
the
it was a
morning.
confirmation to you that
It is a confirmation to me in details. In more details, let me say.
that you
Because
didn't have.
when God said to me, he didn't give me a date. When God said to me, in days I will rapture the church, I didn't understand. I even asked him questions because we just passed the Feast of Trumpets.
Listen carefully. I'm so let's take a step back real quick. This Feast of Trumpets that he's talking about was not mentioned as a sign of the end within days. Okay. Now, September is usually the time that it falls in, or sometimes October. But it's a regular occurrence. Okay. It doesn't just happen one time before the end of times. It's a normal celebration by the Jews. And he wants you to believe that God told him that the rapture was going to happen just after the Feast of Trumpets. Now, the last time I checked, God is not a unspecific God. He's very specific, especially when it comes to his foretelling of things. He's very specific. So if God's going to tell you, in a few days, I will rapture my people, and you take it to believe that he told you to announce that to the world, because it sounds like you said you were unsure, right? That's what you said. You were unsure about what that meant, but you took that opportunity to go before the world and say that you were sure. So now God has to, there's two things, right? God has to answer to you about what he didn't do, but he also wasn't direct with you about what you should do, but you said you did your part.
Okay. But the way God used this man,
Sure.
it clicked to me.
I even have a headache, sorry.
The details this man is presenting are now coming together in my mind, making sense when God said to me in the morning, in days from now, I will rapture my church. Remember, on a call, this man, I will admit, he says, I think Joshua, when he had the date, he delivered it the way it is, but he didn't understand that God was not talking about our current Gregorian calendar, but he was talking about the Julian calendar that Jesus was being used when Jesus was walking on the earth.
Okay.
So,
that you want to know what the crazier part of all of this? Hold 1 second. Let me get this right. I want you guys to understand this real quick, okay? The Julian calendar was proposed in 46 BC. It took effect in 45 BC. You do realize that the prophecies of the end times happened long before the Julian calendar was even implemented, right? We do realize that, right? That there are a bunch of Old Testament books that speak about the end of time that were long before the Julian calendar even came up. So what were they using before? If you know what they're going to say, they're going to tell you that before all that, we are going to say, well, it was a different calendar again, and so we got that date wrong too. That's why. You see what happened. Okay, look. So purple is a color, and when March happens, then we know that September is a date. And since 1995 was also a time frame, then dinosaurs and blue eggs. Rapture. Oh, Lord. Now, the prophets that they're talking all this stuff, prophets, Profits, are making a killing.
It then made sense to me.
To you.
That's why God said to me, in answer of why the rapture never took place. And he said, days from now, I'm going to rapture the church. That's why I left my friend with these words. In days to come, the people of the world will be surprised.
And you know why you can say that with a full chest? In days to come, you can say, well, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like a day. So, in days to come. In days to come. Now, he's not the only one believing it. It's going everywhere now, again.
So I have to tell you, I'll be honest. After the 23rd and the 24th of September passed, I was confused. Um, I still believed that Jesus was coming and that he was on his way, but I felt like there was some type of delay. Something had happened, right? I could not believe that, all these confirmations, tens of thousands of people could all be wrong and that this wasn't going to happen. And so, a video popped up on my phone from another Christian who was seeking God and asking for answers just like I was. As he fasted, the Holy Spirit revealed the Julian calendar to him. In October of 1582, the calendar was changed from Julian to Gregorian. The Julian calendar is 13 days behind our calendar. So today is September 27th on the Gregorian calendar, but it's only September 14th on the Julian calendar. So I started to think, okay, this would explain, right, why Jesus didn't come on September 23rd or 24th. It's because when he was on the earth, the Julian calendar was the calendar they followed. So he is going to come back on the Feast of Trumpets on the Julian calendar, which happens to be October 6th and 7th on our Gregorian calendar.
Please listen to me. We covered a couple of statements, okay? And in the passage we covered before with Matthew 24, this is verse 23. If anyone says to you, look, here is the Christ, or there, do not believe it. For false Christs and false prophets will rise and show great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. See, I have told you beforehand. Therefore, if they say to you, look, he's in the desert, do not go out. Or look, he's in the inner rooms, do not believe it. For as the lightning comes from the east and flashes to the west, so also will be the coming of the Son of Man. For wherever the carcass is, there is eagles. There the eagles will gather together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from the heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send his angels with a great sound of the trumpet, and they will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. I I I caution people to please understand this. While the word talks about all the signs, please never forget what it says after all that in verse 36. But of that day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark, and did not know until the flood came and took them all away. So also will the coming of the Son of Man be. Then 2 men will be in the field, and one of them will be taken and the other left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill, and one will be taken, the other left. Watch therefore, for you do not know. Let me read it again. Watch therefore, for you do not know what hour your Lord is coming. But notice that if the master of the house had known that what time the thief would come, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. Therefore, you also be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect. But these people know. They sure know. Gregorian, Julian, Mayan calendar.
These will be the Feast of Trumpet dates, and he will come to get his bride. So, just a quick history lesson, right? All of the spring feasts were fulfilled on the Julian calendar. Okay. And we know that they were Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits, and Pentecost. Those were our spring ones, and they were fulfilled on the Julian calendar. The fall ones have not been fulfilled yet. So that is the Feast of Trumpets, Day of Atonement, and the Tabernacles. So if Jesus fulfilled the first 4 on the Julian calendar, he is going to fulfill the last 3 on the Julian calendar.
Yeah.
We know this because we know that he does not change. And so it is still, the rapture is still on.
Of course. The rapture is still on, y'all. Sounds like a rock concert. Hey, look, I know the artist was sick, but the rock concert is still on these following dates. Don't miss the rock concert.
God has not changed his mind.
No.
He is coming for his bride. It's just that we are on a different calendar. And so it is going to be October 6th and 7th.
Oh, so it's 6th and 7th, but the other guy says 7th and 8th. So we got a 3-day window, guys. It could happen anywhere from today to Thursday. At least they're giving you a very broad time to get ready in. And that way they can still say, see, no man knew. Oh, my goodness. Again, she's not the only one. She's not. Listen, there is more. Hold on. Wait a minute. There's more. Here we go. This one's, look, you can see the face, right? This lady's excited. She's excited. Wait till you hear this one. This one's great.
The rapture is back on, and you might think that the pastor who gave the original prophecy that it was going to be on September 23rd was wrong, but you would be wrong.
Yeah. If you thought that he was wrong for predicting when Jesus would come back, even though Jesus said nobody would know, you'd be wrong. You'd be so wrong. You'd be the most wrongest of the wrong ever. Because Jesus might have said nobody would know, but Jesus would know, even though he said only the Father knows. Rapture's back on, y'all. Log it in your calendar, man. Get some Adderall, man. Man, this ADHD is gonna kill me, man. Had way too much sugar this morning, man. Oh.
Because he was actually right all along.
And all along.
Thinking, how could that be? You did not see any bodies flying towards the sky on September 23rd. Well, it is because we were using the wrong calendar.
Oh. Golly, gee willikers. What? Wrong calendar, y'all. This is our problem. If we would just stick to the right calendar, we wouldn't have this problem. If you would just stick to the right look, listen, Linda, listen. The calendar matters. I mean, really, if you just used the right calendar, you wouldn't have this problem, really. Oh. You people are afraid to die and want to make stuff up to avoid the inevitable of death. The inevitability of death. The inevitability, not the inevitable of death. The inevitability of death. If you're going to be, saying what you want to say, at least say it in a sort of proper English manner. You people are afraid to die and want to make up stuff to avoid the inevitability of death. We're not avoiding the inevitability of death. We all know we're going to die. In fact, that's what the whole concept is of life is short. And you never know when you're going to die because death is inevitable. That there is no Christian that says that death is avoidable. Yes, no Christian says that. We're not trying to avoid it. In fact, we don't mind if it shows up because we see how the world is today. We got no problem passing on. That transition is very aware to us. I don't, you think that we're not aware about it, but inevitability. Okay. Just wanted to help you out. In case you use that statement somewhere else, you can adjust the copy and paste notion and then put it back up properly. I'm glad it could be of some assistance to you. Anyway, continue, crazy lady, please.
Jesus doesn't know that we changed our calendar.
That's the best one yet. Wait. I want to make sure I heard that 100. I so want to hear that again. I want to hear that again. I really want to hear that again because I don't think I heard what I thought I heard her say. Did y'all hear it? Okay, let's back it up. Let's back it up again. It's because
Doesn't know that we changed our calendar. Jesus doesn't know that we changed our calendar.
Jesus doesn't know that we changed our calendar. I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing.
And we should have been using the Julian calendar because that is the calendar that they used back in the day. So it is now rescheduled to October 6th to 7th.
That calendar is behind by 13 days.
Now, Percy is very relieved because he was very stressed out about this. He thought that God had spoken to him directly and that it was going to be on September 23rd, but now it all makes sense. And he is not alone. There are a lot of people who are coming back online and saying that they are sure this time.
Because when he was on the earth, the Julian calendar was the calendar they followed. So he is going to come back on the Feast of Trumpets on the Julian calendar.
Here's where I have some disappointing news. The guy that sold his car and said that he was no longer going to talk about the rapture publicly, he has pretty much walked that back at this point. He has been making a lot of videos about the rapture. And while he has not said that it will be on October 6th or 7th, he is liking a bunch of comments and kind of being like wink, wink about it because he said he wasn't going to say the exact date, but he is saying it without saying it.
I got my shofar yesterday. Jesus is coming very, very soon. If you know, you know. Wink, wink.
So it looks like we are going to get to do all of this again very soon, and I will keep you updated on any rapture news. The rapture is...
She will keep you posted on any rapture news. People sold houses. People quit jobs. People stopped doing a whole bunch of things. Listen, one lady sold her house for $10,000. $100,000 because she thought that the 26th was going to happen with the rapture. She sold her house. There are people just up and left their house and went out to the woods. There are people that did some of the most crazy things because they genuinely believed, contrary to what the word said, that Jesus was going to come back for the rapture on a very specific date when he himself said that nobody would know. And now the date has been moved forward to either today, tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow. I don't look. In some ways, it's disappointing that people fall for this. But if I say I read the book and I have read the book, then I should expect more of this to happen, right? I should expect way more people to say exactly what these people are saying, that they know something, they have the dates ready, they know when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. And then if something changes, they can. You remember Y2K? Y'all remember Y2K? Y2K was one of the first ones I could remember of predictions. I could remember this whole idea of Y2K. And everybody was anticipating some massive event to happen. And then once Y2K was over, they had a myriad of other predictions floating around the place about the end of time. Everybody was thinking the mark of the beast was going to show up after Y2K showed up. Computers and everybody was even insinuating that maybe even at that point you might see some stuff about Terminator bringing about the end of the. I mean, it was mentally way worse than people think. That I think people remember. Y2K brought all the conspiracy people to the top. Machines are going to take over, and the machine age is what's going to usher in the end of the world with fire this time. That is how he was. The man of perdition was going to show up was through Y2K. He was going to take over everything. Everything would crash, and then whoom, a brand new thing. Then from Y2K, you had all these rumors about wars starting everywhere, and from the wars, yeah, man, wow, it's going to even be even worse. There have been people predicting the end of the world even at the change of certain years. Why do we fall into this every time? Not us, but people. There was a time when huge earthquakes were happening and people thought that would be the end of the world. We even had, you remember this, I forget what year it was. There was a threat of a meteor. And I forget the year that was happening. There was a and I forget, but y'all remember they saying that this massive one was coming, hurtling towards Earth. Um, and they even echoed back the idea that maybe it was from a movie predicted it, and then it just never happened. And people were saying at that point that is exactly how the end of the world is going to happen. It's going to be a meteor going to strike it, and then that's how the Earth is going to explode with fire. And everybody wants to be special, to say they came up with a concept about something that not even Jesus knew. We report on market crashes as though it's the life-ending source of all things. Natural disasters happen. Oh, this is definitely a sign. Fires and earthquakes breaking out everywhere. This is definitely a sign. Wars, definitely a sign. The agenda, definitely a sign. They are all signs that the earth is fallen. Everything you see happen is a sign that the earth is fallen. A fallen earth will do what a fallen earth does. It even tells you that you will see all these things, and it's still not time. It's still not time. Even to see this, right? This statement here in Matthew, further down in 47. Assuredly, I say to you that he will make him ruler over all his goods. But if that evil servant says in his heart, my master is delaying his coming, and begins to beat his fellow servants and eat and drink with drunkenness, and the master of that servant will come on a day when he is not looking for him, and at an hour that he is not aware of, and will cut him in two and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. All these people going with this insane, stupid, preposterous idea that Christ is somehow going to show up at an appointed date when he told you you don't know. And these people are telling you that he told them that he was coming back then when he told you he doesn't know, is crazy work to me. That in a vision, Jesus shows up to tell them that he is coming, when Jesus, through his own words, told you that the Father knows. I don't know how we got here. But at the same time, it was predicted that we'd be here. We were told that many would come and say stupid things, and there would be stupid people that follow. There'd be ignorant people that don't read, people that don't follow, that want to hear what they want to hear. They'll follow this stuff. And they'll believe it. They will believe it with their whole heart. And they will be persuasive. They will be persuasive. I'm going to show you something here real quick if I can find the video. Okay, here it is. I'm going to show you this. This is in Uganda. Okay. And these are really people who have been deceived to think that what they are told is really going to happen. Okay. They are genuinely, and I feel for them in some ways, but I don't in others. I feel for them in some ways, but I don't in others. I have zero regard for them in a lot of ways because they chose to be fooled. I can understand you being led astray in some ways. I really can. I can understand a deceivement of something that is so like that the deceiving could be big. I get it. And I know that in a lot of people's worlds, deception is like a really big thing. But you got to be willing to be deceived or ignorant enough to be deceived to be this deceived. This is them waiting for the so-called rapture. I want to know where they're going with backpacks. I want to know where they're going with headgear. But they're waiting on a rapture. It even says in the parts that we read, people will just be doing what they're doing and they'll just poof, gone. You all remember watching Left Behind, the movie Left Behind, or reading the book series Left Behind series, and how they did it? It was quite interesting to see how they, in their mind, formulated the idea of what a rapture would look like. And I never read the books. I watched the movie. I was never interested in it to the point where I was like, that makes sense. It never made sense to me. But I was intrigued at the way that they portrayed the idea of people disappearing, right? Just poof, no clothes and flesh is gone. You know, they're just gone. I don't know how he's going to do what he says he's going to do. I don't care how he does what he's going to do. He never asked me to make sense of it. He never asked me to decipher it. He never asked me to break it apart. He never asked me to try and make human sense of it. Same way he never asked me to verify, try and figure out what the lady in red, the horses, the pale ones. He never asked me to look into any of those to figure out how that would pan out. He never asked me to figure out whether the dragon coming out of the water was going to be real, whether the three-headed monster was going to be something. He never asked me to do any of that. What he did ask me to do is abide, and in my abiding, he would show. Not help me predict, help me see, to discern. We have people in this world waiting like this for something they were told they'd never know when it was coming. And this goes on for hours. They were doing this for hours. I want to know who told them to go to the beach in the trees. And why is it that direction he's going to come from? And she's recording on her phone the event. For what? Why would you need to record it when he told you everybody would see it? You ain't gonna miss it. Trust and believe me. If we are going, and this is for people who say, well, y'all are ridiculous for believing. Okay, we crazy for believing it. Good. That's what you believe. That's fine. You can believe we're crazy. Let's be crazy and you can be sane. Okay. But let's just say, based on what it said, it's true. Then nobody gonna miss it. You ain't gonna need a phone. You are not gonna need the news to tell. It's gonna be seen by everybody. Look, you don't. The trumpet alone, people will hear. It's not gonna be like, you hear that, and no, I don't hear a thing. Yeah. I thought I heard some trumpet. It's very vague off in the distance. No, that's not what it's gonna be like. He told you already. The only thing we don't know is the when. And I don't care when. I simply have to be ready. That's it. That's it. Just be ready. And how are you going to be ready? Abiding. People have a hard time simply abiding because they're too busy asking for this, that, the other. They keep wanting stuff. I want a house. I want a job. Now, hear me out. Say all you look to God for is the benefits, right? Let's say you want a job and you finally get the job you want. Man, God gave me this job and I'm going to make me some money, because you know what? God wants me to be prosperous. And watch Jesus show up the next day and you don't get to make the money you thought you were going to make, but you got the job, right? You said that God gave you that job. Woo, man, I'm going to make me some bank now. You getting paid $1 million a day, right? So you make your first million, but you don't get paid the first day. You don't get paid till the next couple of weeks, right? But you get the job and the job guarantees you $1 million a day. And then whoop, Jesus shows up the next day. You're going to be like, man, I'm glad I didn't get that $1 million, even though I think God promised me that he was going to give it to me. And all of a sudden I can't get it because, well, Jesus showed up. I don't know why Jesus had to show up when I finally get my $1 million job. You could have picked a different day. You think that's how they're going? Of course, that's how they would want to react. You think they're going to go anywhere? Maybe. Everybody looks at God as some kind of a piggy bank or an ATM or a genie in a bottle. Gimme, 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 gimme. They're not ready for him to show up to just, no, they just want stuff. He, gimme, mine. Make my life easy. Make my life happy. Make me what I want to be. And then, Lord, I will follow you. But only if you keep giving me stuff, because if you stop, I swear I will stop following you, because that means you have deserted me. And pastors are pushing that. This idea that you can question God on his motives and his timing and what he wants to do is commonplace now. This guy that we listened to said he went and questioned God. How you gonna have me do my part and you don't do yours? How you gonna have me tell these people they gonna get raptured and you don't rapture them? What is wrong with you? TD Jakes, I'm gonna give on a level where God gonna have to owe me. God ain't nothing to these people. God is simply a cudgel for some and a breadbasket for others. He's not sovereign. He's not holy. He's not revered. He's not honored. He's not exalted. He's not king. He's not top. They are. Which is why they can feel so brazen in making predictions about something that they were told they would never know. You ever notice that they never tell you all of these predictions and never can tell you who the Antichrist is? It's a little too tangible. They keep giving you these ideas about, and there's more description about him than in a time frame. You notice they never go into detail about whether or not the woman in red is going to be a real person or not. They never go into details about whether the dragon is going to be a real one. You want to show you how I can easily make and act like them? Look, did you know that the dragon in the Bible is actually a reflection of China? China is the dragon spoken about in the Bible. You know how I know that? I know that because China is enamored with the dragon. That's how they do it. And the bear, Russia. Why? Russia's mascot, a bear. Eagle, America. All I know, look, and you know what else too? America is also the new Babylon. Yeah. They know all that stuff. They know all of that, and yet still don't know the person that they're making the predictions about. They don't. They couldn't tell you anything about his nature. They couldn't tell you about surrender. They couldn't tell you about death to self. They couldn't tell you about the giving of all your will and mind and soul to him. They couldn't tell you any of that because it's not as important. The more important thing is trying to get you to see something grandiose that they were predicting. Not that you couldn't figure it out yourself. You have to make sure you listen to them because they know more. The day the Lord told me, look, I've said this, and even they will use scripture to fit their narrative. And they know the scripture just like the devil does. But the instant they tell you their origin story, you should be weary about what they say after that origin story. They all seem to come from some intimate one-on-one time in real time with God. Not like, this, I prayed and things started to fall into place. No. These people have God show up in their room. They shake God's hand. They stand before God and are ordained. People like Geno Jennings tell you that Jesus showed up in his room and spoke to him directly in the flesh to tell him he was an apostle. And people still listen to him. Why? Because he does put quite a large amount of truth from the word in there. But if your origin story is that you met Jesus one-on-one in the flesh, you're a liar. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Liar. That ain't about you did this and you met the Jesus, the Lord of the creation. You're a liar. And your mammy is a liar too. Hallelujah. Act like he got seizures up there. Hallelujah. But he makes it really good because book, chapter, and verse, I can tell it all to you. I'll flip it and reverse it. Call me the Missy Elliott of the Bible. But Jesus met him. He like Paul now. Reverence for God is gone. It is few and far between. It's fleeting. It is fickle. It is fake. People do not revere God. For them, all he is a simple word, a statement, something that they can use. But no, they don't revere him. They don't honor him. They don't respect him. They for sure don't put him above all else, which is why they can afford to do the things they do and say the things they do, like predict his showing up as though they know when the thief is coming. They don't want to keep their lamps trimmed. They don't want to have oil ready. They don't. I will never, I'll never get it, but I do understand it. But if you're one of those people that are waiting for the rapture to happen, and you know it's coming real soon, I want to just let you in on something. You don't know when that's going to happen, because nobody does. Nobody knows it. But if you want to keep waiting and act like it's happening tomorrow, that's perfect, because then you never know when it's happening and you're always ready. But if you want to tell me, well, I know exactly when and I have some time, I'll let you know this. I wouldn't take that approach. I wouldn't take that approach. Just a word of advice. You don't have to take it. You don't have to take it. But I would advise you to not be the kinds of people that wait until the last moment to figure this out. Tomorrow, I want to talk about something that I had kind of hinted at a year ago or so. But it's becoming more and more apparent to me, based on the things I'm seeing, that the um, there is a mad push right now for a very specific kind of thought process. And one of the thought processes is the lack of trust for God. But secondarily, I've said this, that the devil never stopped his tactics from the garden. And I'm seeing a pattern of men now giving not into it alone, but behaving as though they are doing the bidding of the devil when it comes to what happened in the garden. And I will say now, I'm probably going to upset a few people who are in the way of following God, they say, but are feministic in their ideology. I'll upset you tomorrow. Um, so we will be talking about the woman God tomorrow. Um, yeah, we'll be talking about the woman God tomorrow. And if that sounds off the off kilter, it should. Um, but I'll show you what I mean when I say that tomorrow. I don't believe so. I have to go back and look. Like I said, there are tons of things that I may have done, but I I, I don't think I have. Um, At least not on this platform. I may have on a prior political one. But no, I don't think I have. But I'll look into it again secondarily if I haven't. So I want to thank Candy Campbell before this is all said and done. Candy sent me a care package with a whole bunch of herbal stuff in it, but she also sent me a shirt. She said she couldn't help it, and I'm wearing that shirt today. And I have to say, I'm a fan of the shirt. The shirt says, "I'm a grumpy old man." I love the shirt. And at the bottom, it says, "My level of sarcasm depends on your level of stupidity." Now, if I can get a copy of this shirt, I would send one to Mr. So-and-so. And this could be our podcast shirt. And our mantra for the channel: grumpy old men. And our level of sarcasm is only equal to your level of stupidity. And I think that would be, you can let me know now, so-and-so. But I think that would be the ideal outfit for us. Absolutely the best outfit for us, because I think it would fit perfectly. Perfectly. What? Yeah. So thank you, Candy. I'm going to wear this shirt around today proudly, happily, because it fits me perfectly. Love it. Thank you. And as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to go have she sent me a bottle of a liquid mixture for colds and the season transitioning, elderberry, honey, and anyway, it looks like it's going to taste like something from below, but it'll help. So I'm going to take that today too. So, hey, look, as soon as I saw it, I thought of me, but I thought, man, he would rock this shirt like, man, what? I love the shirt. So we'll be talking about the woman God complex tomorrow. Because I think it's important we deal with this. When we deal with it properly. And if there are any women out there that get mad at me, so be it. Okay? So be it. I don't mind if you get mad. It's all good. Get mad. Stay mad. Just try and disprove to me the thing that I'm bringing up. That's all. That's all. So we'll be back. Scrolling at the bottom, you know what to do. Again, not necessary, but it is what I've given people as an option if they feel like it. We'll be back. Savage will be on today. We're still deciding on a topic, but we will be on today. And both sides will be on tonight as well. We're also trying to pick a subject matter for that too. So a full day coming back, and we'll kick things off. In the meantime, in between time, though, I want to thank all of you all that were here yesterday. We had a great discussion on Zoom yesterday. Mr. So-and-so, you were absent, and for that, we're going to need 200 lines of "I will never miss Zoom again." We need that written down 200 times, please. I will never miss Zoom again. I will never miss Zoom again. Okay? You knew it was happening, and you decided to stay away. It's pretty crazy, man. Might have to withhold my T-shirts from you. But it was a really good conversation yesterday. So thank you, CJ, for bringing up the topic. Appreciate all of y'all. Yeah, you saw yesterday was Saturday. Hey, my days run together too, man. Y'all have a grand rest of the day. We'll see you guys on Savage, and then on both sides. Wisdom calls to you from the street, so please, please, please find wisdom. Peace.
Hold tight the dreams, for if dreams die.